was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk.
I'm Bali Matandela. I study gender and transformation honors at UCT. I'm a writer, I'm a feminist thinker, an activist of Rhodes Must Fall.
Hi, my name is Sandy Lindelu. I'm a postgrad law student at the University of Cape Town. I'm a black radical trans feminist, and I'm an organizer at the Rhodes Must Fall movement.
My name is Mira Brill. I'm a postgrad law student, and I'm a member of Disrupting Whiteness.
Hi, my name is Sinakolo Mbai. I'm a BA law student, majoring in political science and with law. I am a curate of PASMA, Pan-African Student Movement of Tanzania.
My name is Nabil Ali. I'm a 2016 postgraduate history honors student and a member of the 2016 SRC.
My name is Kwandiswa James. I study theatre and performance at UCT. I am a Rhodes Must Fall activist.
Hi, my name is Sinead Johnson. I'm a second-year occupational therapy student, and I'm a member of the SRC for 2016.
We found ourselves in a political context in the university where students are protesting, and they're protesting about housing, which is also linked to access into the institution, about who gets housing and who doesn't, and it's a different type of exclusion, but it's also it's linked to financial exclusion, because who gets access to housing based on whether they have the funds to have access to that housing. And so you see how the issues are all interconnected. The issues are about decolonization, about improving access for Black students, about improving the experience of Black students. And so we found ourselves a year later at this conversation about where are we now?
What's happening now is that student protest is falling victim to the neoliberalism of the country. And that's why I think that you'll find a lot of protests meet lots of support. For example, fees, that gets lots of support because that can affect white students as well. And it gets mass mobilization, and universities can close. But you ask the same question, can that happen for the housing crisis when the university overbooks residences by 40%? Is that something that white students can mobilize by, and particularly privileged students? And it's clear the answer is no. And now you get into questions of, do we have to now, for sake of mobilization, for sake of numbers' sake, for sake of being taken seriously, do you have to wait for a set number of people to join a protest? Do you have to wait for a set group of people to join a protest? Because it seems as though, by virtue of the reaction that protest action gets, that's the case, that there needs to be a certain presence to legitimize that protest.
I'm protected by this university, so my position's entirely different. I can't even be outraged by the university. I can't be angry about the same stuff. But what is a strategy that I think they use is that as soon as there is disruption and protest and activity on the campus, they either send out some stupid message about it's not safe, or stay clear. There was feces thrown in the Leslie social, whatever. They're go, stay clear of the building, don't go there. By doing that, I'm sure it's intentional. What they're doing is they're not allowing white students to feel the discomfort of the disruption, which is essential for coming to terms with the redistribution of power and actually being aware of the stuff that we own this property that is not ours and needs to be redistributed. The burning of the paintings to me was really symbolic and important, and white people needed to see it with their own eyes. This is just a symbolism of your stuff burning and going to someone else's control, which is ultimately the goal of one of the goals of decolonization. And I think the university intentionally getting white people out of these spaces, because they can afford to get out of the spaces. Either they fly home, either they go back to their mom's house for dinner, or they leave res.
The housing issue, it's always been an issue. The fees issue, it's always been an issue. It's not a 2015 thing. It's not a 2016 thing. The art, there's a committee that sits in the university that talks about the symbolism, the art in the institution. And it wasn't until those paintings were burnt on the 16th of February did they try fast track that process, because they're scared now about all these other paintings that might get burnt down. And so you see like how power needs pressure, or else they're not going to do anything.
And I mean, I think also it's important to note why UCT is all of a sudden, unabashedly against the protesting students and can't even live up to, its traditional white liberal, we support the Constitution and all those things. And that's because, of to their eyes and to their, public relations and propaganda machinery, support has dwindled for the students. And so, in order they're now trying to maneuver on the side of, what they see as the masses, not realizing that actually the masses and itself are actually on the wrong side of history.
They've already started archiving our struggle. They've already started putting in courses, putting in the statements of Rhodes Must Fall into certain courses. There's actually an intros course in anthropology where students had to find Rhodes Must Fall activists, and we had to sign attend. It was something for a tutorial. They had to find activists to sign, and so you can see that the university is using the protest and this students' grievances for their own personal gain. They're archiving it so that they look like a progressive institution, but at the same time they're repressing students. They're not on our side. They just like what's happening because of maybe what the public thinks of it at the moment.
The most damning things that black students could ever do, right? Or the most sinful thing or crime that they did do is hold white capital supremacy at ransom. Because that's what 2016, 2015 did, right? It held it at ransom. And my God, to touch white capital supremacy, okay? You will see flames. That's when you will see that actually you are not human, okay? Because this is how capitalism works, that it only recognizes your productive value, right, while negating your humanness at the very same time, okay? And what we did when we called about the housing issue, when we called about the fees issue, right? Now that has in numbers, okay, that frustrates the capitalist system, okay? Because now black students are now calling what is due to them, right? They're getting smart, okay? They know that they're being owed. They're we want what is due back. We want what is due back, and that's actually now very frustrating for the system.
There's something that's being called a kind of youth entitlement, which is about us arriving, demanding what is due us actually, and then this language, this rhetoric around, but you must work for it, but you must, etc., etc., etc. And here we are, because we also have to understand our point of privilege of being at UCT and what it meant to have gotten into UCT in the first place, right? And so here we are. And we've worked. I mean, the amount of subsuming ourselves into the privileged classes, right? Into the understanding around black intellectual elitism and all of this. And so then they speak to us about we haven't worked. We don't deserve it. We are born here. We have a right here. And if you're saying things like money must be, no, this doesn't make sense. A lot of the things that the university is saying for me, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of the rhetoric around trying to dissuade people from joining or encouraging the movement is around there's this entitlement. And I write about this a lot. Black people at the moment, we are entitled. I'm an Anglo black child and I'm entitled to it.
Saying black students are entitled when we are just asking for what we rightfully should get from the university. Yes, we're owed by the university, and it's when Shakful was put up, the privileged people privileged traffic goers were inconvenienced. And so they were entitled enough to go and complain about it. And that's why the university moved it, right? And I think that's entitlement, because people are protesting for their survival, and here you are with your car and you could use another road, and you disrupt people showing their pain, showing how hard it is to survive in this institution. And the only thing that privileged traffic goers can think about is that inconvenience. The inconvenience of something being in the road. I think also just people don't understand what protest is. Protest is always meant to, it's meant to be seen. It's meant to disrupt something.
No matter how hopeful we are, no matter how much we educate, the systems that oppress us, the people who seem to represent what oppresses us, etc., whiteness and what follows after it, capitalist supremacy, patriarchy, will not commit suicide. And at this point, I'm starting to see it with all of the universities across the country and their responses to black protests, and the fact that, it's crumbling. This foundation that they've built, this pseudo-intellectual tower on, is starting to crumble, is just now the ultimate kind of protection, because this thing will not kill itself. The survival of the university is Max Price's #1 priority. It is not you, black child. It is not you, right? And because the survival of this university is money which presents itself as privilege, specifically white privilege in this our context in South Africa, post-TRC. And so the university, it shows who it's here for. It's never been for us. It's never been for us. I mean, it was built by Cecil John, built on the backs of blacks who then had to struggle and suffer to get here. But now at this point, so much naming, so much violence being thrown back at us when we are reacting from a system that makes us shock. We feel violated. What should we do? Should we not burn down paintings? It's a painting, UCT. One of those paintings, 1 million rand, pay for a student's school fees. Come on.
No one was actually ever ready for the youth of 2015 and the youth of 2016, right? And secondly, one thing which this entire protest is that the university gets excited about excluding black students, right? I mean, I've read reports which the SRC is only privy to, that the university anticipates to exclude people, right? Like last year, it only anticipated to exclude 450 people in first-year residences alone. Okay, and hence they would over-allocate, right? So which is then very telling that a university which is its social aims to develop the community of South Africa, it's invested in education, instead of divesting its resources in terms of supporting students to exceed, to excel academically, right? It gets excited about the prospects of excluding them.
The financial exclusion, because it hits home with me, because I don't even know. This is why I didn't want to talk.
Your voice is very important. People need to hear this.
That's okay.
I didn't even know if I'm going to come back to school on Monday. I just got the email to say people's not going to give me funding. So, financial exclusion. I mean, I passed all my courses, 100%. And my whole family's relying on me. So what do I do? That's it.
We need to press charges against Max Price. We need to press charges against the executive of the university. Max Price needs to pay for what he's done to students at this university. He needs to stand trial, and in my defense, in defense of black students and in defense of protest, justice needs to come to Max Price.
The university should ignore white voices and white funders because they clearly have enough money to cover the demands by black students. And the university should demilitarize and listen to the voices of black students because they are far smarter than the voices of white academic students who have no experience of what is going on.
I have 3 simple points. Decolonize, bring back the students who have been expelled, and allow students to protest. That's all I ask.
This university has to burn. This country has to burn so we can breathe.
The message of the university is very clear. Black child, get out of UCT, you do not belong here, right? We don't care about good words about you, you don't matter. So I'm done speaking with the university on that. I just want to say to black children, black child, you're on your own.
My dream is to exist fully, and for it to not be so painful.
My dream is to be human again.
My dream is to not be an oppressor, and I will only no longer be an oppressor until those I've oppressed say so.
My dream is for my family to get our land back, for my family to live in dignity.
My dream is to realize the coming of Mhlaba, and so that we may be righteously restored as black people with dignity.
My dream is to see the fall of white capitalist supremacy.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.